Janine, again, it's great for you to be here once again. Like I said, we've had, of course, a very crazy month with April, not to mention how crazy March was as well, too. How have you been with all the things that have been happening here, I'd say, over the last few weeks with everything that's happening?
Wow. Yeah, it's been like a roller coaster ride, frankly. And I've physically been feeling like every morning, like pressure and headaches. And I know it's more spiritual or more about energy shifting and less about physical things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely been, I'm doing my best to try and get people to calm down in some ways, right? Because we get a lot of people just very over anxious and Brad, what's happening over here? What about this thing that's happening? And we pull out the cards as well too. We do some looking into it. I sometimes just tether myself intuitively to an event and say, okay, well, you know what, guys, even though the mainstream media is blowing this up and I think it's like that's something that's blown completely out of proportion, there's order here. There's some very nice order. And I think just a lot of us keep falling for the life movie. So, and I know you've had quite a few readings regarding the life movie as well too. And I think that's, again, what many people are just forgetting in that way, that, a lot of the things that you see on the screen are life movie. A lot of that we see here, and especially in the media, is it's kind of like a stage show. And it's almost like an initiation in that way. It's kind of like we're getting initiated. The sleepers basically are getting initiated into understanding what's actually going on here. But you're getting baby fed, baby spooned with it all together as well too. So I think what we'll do is we'll kind of look into the first aspect. I think it's just a first question here. Now, there was one of my questions that came up yesterday when I was doing New Earth Insights. A person was afraid of a New York City nuke, like a nuclear bomb in that sense. Have you heard about something like that? Have people been sharing that with you too? Yeah. Have you looked into it already? Or?
I did look into it on Tarot by Janine. I looked into the Project Looking Glass predictions, or they're associating the predictions with Project Looking Glass. But anyway, so they used to call it Event 1, Event 2. So I think we're talking about Event 1. And I looked into it, and it did look like it was predicted maybe by a predictive programming sort of gadget. I called it a gadget. And it looked like it was going to be taken back quite a few notches. It wasn't going to be anything like what was described. So every time I look at those predictions, it always looks like we're going to sidestep it. We've already created not having to deal with it. If we continue to visualize the opposite and a better outcome, we don't have to deal with these things. This is what I keep getting. So
yeah, no, that's true. I was actually looking at it this morning as well too, and said, no, that's something that's been fizzled out. It's basically been snuffed out altogether. I was even just getting it intuitively yesterday. So yeah, you guys don't have to worry about that. I was doing a little bit of funny comedic impressions yesterday as well too. If people just get too panicky at these things.
Yeah, they do.
But from what I can see as well too, it looks like we're quite in the clear. Like I said, New York City is going to be fine. Some people are saying April 18th that something was supposed to happen, but I was looking into it just intuitively. I said, no, guys, what's going to happen is just a nice sunny day, hopefully in New York City, with completely nuke free. So that's good here.
At a sunny day, because I told everybody to visualize a sunny day.
Oh, well, there you go. And it will happen. That it
Maybe
will.
That's why it's going to be a sunny day.
I feel it too. So here's a question here from Rita. Rita says, I had a dream in March that my mom, she's been gone for 17 years, had me sign a document, and I dated it on June 5th, 2022. And I do not know what it was for. My grandmother was also there and was anxious for me to sign. What was this about? From Rita. Okay.
So what was the dream about?
That she had a dream. She said that she had a dream in March that her mom, who has been gone for 17 years, had her sign a document, and she dated it for June 5th, 2022. And she did not know what it was for. My grandmother was also there and was anxious for me to sign this. And what was this about?
It's a message from her mother that something's shifting on that date, and that she's already agreed to a shift on that date for the positive. It's a very positive shift. So for her personally, or maybe the world, because that is the world card. So it's something, and it steps away from, so I don't know if this person is fear-based, or maybe it's indicating that the world's really fearful right now, but it was a message from her mother to say, something shifting in particular on that date. Either herself personally or the world will feel the shift, and to step away from the fear, or telling the world will step away from the fear.
Great, excellent. So hopefully that answers your question, Rita. Thank you for your question. Here's one here from Deborah. Deborah says, curious about GMO mosquitoes and ticks. You know, are they around? I'm pretty sure we may have covered this in the past as well too. But GMO mosquitoes and ticks, where a lot of people get Lyme disease, basically from a lot of these GMO ticks as well too. So what is the current situation pertaining to these GMO mosquitoes and ticks that have been basically bioproduced?
Okay, I think their time's up. I think we got the world, and the justice card. So justice to me is like karmic justice. I feel like their time's up, and this is a situation of safety. So it's that if there was those, and there likely was, or they were planned, they've been stepped back to the humans have been somehow made safe from it. Yeah, so it's been worked on for years to keep us safe from those, but they might have been a thing and they might have been created, but they've been stepped back. So I think they took out that technology.
A lot of laboratories getting seized by the counter forces, that's for sure. Yeah. So yeah, they've had all kinds of strange concoctions that they've created, and they try to do it in many ways as possible, right? I'm sure a lot of people keep telling me about this. What is it? Watch the Water video.
Oh yeah.
With the snake venom.
I love what you said about it yesterday. I was
I'm just like, come on, guys, we got to be more creative than that.
Totally.
Right? And like I said, I'm completely all for, that they certainly have done things with fluoride and certain things like that in the water, but definitely, come on, snake venom. No, there's not enough snakes in the world to cover the problem with the world water supply. And even when you're diluting the idea of the venom, in that sense, it becomes far less potent, and it's actually going through the digestive system where it's not going into the bloodstream at all. That basically neutralizes the venom. So that would not really be a threat. So I'm not too sure really what this chiropractor is talking about, but I think he should stick with chiropractic work. Yeah,
I was getting a feeling he might have been trained. I don't even know if he knows. I wonder if he was maybe
told something and then he wanted to share it, or
I felt like he was handled, and a lot of people are mad at me about that, but I just I
would get the same feeling with that too. Yeah. I only watched the 30 seconds to a minute of the video. I'm like, no, turning this off. This is no good. I just kind of intuitively know as soon as I watch a video what's good and what's not, and that was just down. Here's one from Margie. Margie says, Janine, do you think we will have a 3-day shutdown? And if so, when do you think this will happen? A 3-day shutdown. Okay.
So that's being every day changed. So that there's a big secret around that, and they change how that's going to go down every day. So that's a work in progress. It's like they're trying to sidestep the need to do that. So I don't think that's a sure thing that'll happen, but I'm not saying it won't.
Yeah.
Right, because we've got all of these strategy cards. That's a strategy. So they're trying to figure out a way, but then now we got a yes. So it does look like it eventually happens, and we got a yes. And I'm thinking it 3 days, or we can even say with these two, between 3 and 5 days. I never get it longer than 5. I've looked at it several times, but so it feels like they were trying to sidestep it. They might actually go ahead and do it.
So are we talking like an internet shutdown or a power shutdown, or kind of a combination of the two?
I think a combination with that. There's because the lovers is entwined, and there's a disappointment, so it won't be fun. It'll be a temporary setback of between 3 and 5 days. And I think we're talking, I think maybe both.
Globally, or just like in a certain area, like the United States, for example?
I feel like it'll be intermittent all over the world. So I feel like it'll change places. So a couple of hours here, maybe 12 hours here, and then this place will go down, and then this place. I feel like it'll move around the world. And
my feeling is with something of that strategy, I think it's just basically roundups they're looking to happen, more mass arrests. because basically the counter forces pretty much have all the toys right now. It's not so much of the dark forces anymore.
Yeah.
So basically they're probably going to do a lot of these grid shutdowns temporarily, just to basically move in, coordinate there, seize the people responsible, and then out of there, and then everything comes back online again.
Yeah.
So things like that would definitely be
that would be that card, because that's the good military.
That's the running in. Yeah, that's the
what
run
they
in.
want to use it for. Yeah, so
Mhm.
that makes sense.
Absolutely. All right. Well, Margie, thank you for that question. Of course, it's kind of the same thing with the EBS as well, too. EBS, we see it goes up, it goes down. I was doing a reading on it not too long ago, and I was like, yeah, it feels like this is almost really imminent, like it was about to happen. Then I did another reading. It's like, nope, back in the back pocket again. So I'm like, okay, fine.
I get the same thing every time I
It
do.
fluxes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in fluctuation constantly. Okay, let me just see if we can find another card question here. This is from Lacey. Lacey says, is my daughter an empath? After her anxiety accelerates, she starts seeing unwelcome images, or 3 unwelcome images. Maybe she meant to say just unwelcome images. So just wondering if her daughter is an empath when she gets anxious, her ability to see images accelerates.
Okay, I'm wondering if her anxiety is created because it's hard on her to be as intuitive as she is. So I get the feeling she's very empathic and very much emotionally in touch with other people's feelings. Mm-hmm. And it may be overwhelming, which is why she protects herself, because this guy's wearing armor, because it gets too, scary for her. Let's just say, right? So it's hard on her. So she protects herself with anxiety. That's just her response to it. But actually, if she just opens up to it and accepts that she's a gifted person and starts spiritually maybe preparing herself, she could actually, if she chooses, but she'd have to choose, she could actually really channel.
Excellent. So there you go. Lacey, hope that helps you with your question. Here's another one from Beverly. Beverly says, I'm noticing so much construction of new buildings, medical facilities, additions to hospitals, etc. What will be happening to all of this infrastructure once we incorporate our new Earth and specifically new medical modalities? Will these be dismantled? They are an eyesore right now and hardly peace-inducing. So what's happening with the infrastructure as we start to move forward?
Yes. So a yes to the question that they'll be dismantled, but judgment card. So not till after things really settle down from, obviously there's going to be really intense things happening around when people find out about tribunals and everything that's been going on, and people getting called to justice, and everybody that's been rounded up and or is going to be rounded up, they need to get dealt with. So it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen overnight. It'll be frustrating and maybe a long drawn out process over years, probably, where they dismantle things and recreate. Yeah, we're going to recreate. And even within 4 years, your world's going to look a lot better and different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been getting that too as well. Yeah, certain things need to happen first. Like I said, there just needs to be more rounding up of a lot of the dark forces. And as that happens, then there's re-infrastructuring. Like 2023 really represents that reevaluation, reset. And we're going to see that a lot more. So definitely 4 years, I can see that as well too. A lot of these big buildings, a lot of them are just basically built by the Chinese as well. So like even here in Vancouver, in DC, right, we have all these big condos and most of them are empty. Like 90% of it is vacant. They're just buildings that are just taking up eyesores. Exactly.
Wasteful. Yeah.
Exactly. Here's one from Chrissy. Chrissy says, hi, Janine and Brad. Love you guys. Thank you. I keep having dreams where I feel I am awake, nothing specific, but keep getting headaches and a couple of those nosebleeds, which is not normal for me. What is the universe telling me? It's my birthday today. Any messages? Oh, happy birthday. So what is the universe trying to tell me with getting these headaches and nosebleeds?
Okay, so she's being visited. She's being visited, and it feels like a past life association is visiting her. So she could have even been, who knows, that could even be off world, like maybe she's from another galaxy or has some kind of mixed sort of blood from another galaxy, something like that. She's being visited, but it's safe. She's safe. It's not a bad thing. Okay, so it's a safe thing. Yeah, family. So she's visited by a connection to another race of people, but I don't know if they're humans. And I think a lot of us are intermixed. I think we're, a lot of us are from different star
all over.
situations. I mean, I don't know. I don't have the words always for that, but these are good energies and entities, and their family members are energies just connecting with her in a way to connect back to their family members.
Excellent. All right. So thank you very much for that question. Hope that helped you. This one here is from Allison. I live in South France, about an hour from Spain, with my husband and 2 daughters, all awake, thankfully. They're all awake. That's good. Is there going to be a polar shift? And if so, should we leave our homes all near coast and go to higher ground? Thank you.
I'm not getting the imminently need to leave, or they're in any big danger. I'm not getting that. I'm getting, if they leave, it should just be because that's what they feel like doing.
Yeah.
And they might leave because their area doesn't allow for the kind of freedoms they want, or maybe they'll shift once everything changes. I feel like they might shift where they want to live, but it'll come from more of a heartfelt feeling, and they're not in imminent danger. So I'm not getting that. In fact, I'm getting that if the polar shift happens, and maybe it's already happened for all we know, or it's happening as we speak, but it's going to be to the advantage of them, and it doesn't disadvantage them even where they're living. So I don't think it'll happen in a way that's physically going to harm them. So I don't think they need to imminently leave. If they like it there, they should just keep checking in with themselves. Yes. They may leave there, but not for those reasons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's especially important. Like if you're going to leave to a place, make sure you're doing it with where your heart wants to guide you, right? You're not leaving because of fear, because even if we do that, fear follows you, just in different forms. Right? Mm-hmm. We want to be aware of that. Here's one from Lynn. Lynn Taylor. When are the COVID mandates going to be dropped for Australia? We're still masked and can't work. We can't work or go to restaurants, etc. So yeah, COVID restrictions, mandates dropping for Australia.
Wow. So a lot of the situation in Australia is completely contrived, and the biggest part of the movie is happening, it looks like, in Australia. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's why they've been held up the longest, because the movie's playing out really big there, because we've got that magician card. So your government isn't even real. Okay, it's completely shadow governed. Mm-hmm. Surrender to, for some reason they're getting the boots to them the worst. Okay, and that card looks like May.
That would make sense. Okay,
so I love this card. She's my Taurus card. And you're going to need the army, the positive army, to come and shift things for you. That's how. I don't know why they're doing that to Australia, other than maybe they think they need to, there's these hot spots that they need to really make examples of. I don't know why.
They're just, I think it's almost kind of like you're seeing sludge, and you just want to kind of pump that sludge out so you're getting the flow coming in. Right? Mm-hmm. So to me, I feel like the dark forces are doing something. The counter forces are basically intensifying that so much to the point where it says, you guys need to get up and you need to do something, right? Because if you don't get up and do something, and the way these changes happen, you guys are going to be lost behind in the dirt.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure that you're getting things ready, getting yourself prepared. We're trying to light a fire under your butts to getting you out there. But yeah, like I said, guys, it's all just part of the life movie. The life movie, especially like with what's happening in Shanghai as well too, right? Mm-hmm. Where the idea where they're trying to check to see if they have the PCR tests, where they're on the phone, they say it's negative, and then on the CDC website, it's saying it's positive. And people are getting so unbelievably confused. I said, that's purposeful. That's counter forces. Counter forces are doing that to rile people up and say, okay, like I said, this is all part of initiation of the sleepers. So like I said, if you guys are watching this and you're already awake and you already know that it's a big, gigantic life movie, that's great. But just start educating more people as well too. So this is happening because it's all part of a major shift. We're trying to wake up as many people as possible. That's why the life movie is happening. It's for the sleepers to try and light a fire under them too, to move the sludge out of the way so that we have much more of a cleaner flow happen. Mm-hmm. That's the idea. Okay, so again, thank you for your question there. So here's one from Pauline. Pauline says, Janine, you said that we needed to plan for shortages. To what extent do we need to plan? Like full-on preparation? How long will it last? And are we better off in the outskirts of the city? Right, thank you, Pauline.
Okay, so I've done lots and lots of looks, so that's probably what she's referring to, but it's pretty consistent. I've gotten that, like if you had like 2 weeks worth of supplies and a way to maybe a way to cook that doesn't need electricity in case your electricity goes off for hours.
Mhm.
But we always get rolling electricity outages, and I never get it full on, but being prepared is not a bad idea. But I don't get months and months. So let's see if that's still what I'm getting here.
Okay.
Yeah, that's still the, like it says that information, because I asked, what about the information I was giving? Is that still the case? So she's authentic and true. Okay, so don't get pulled into fear-based gut punch versions of it, because we hear like, oh my goodness, I've heard like 10 months. I've heard, okay, we're going to be, it's like, no, it's not going to be like that. It's going to be temporary, intermittent, frustrating. It won't be fun. Yeah. And a lot of shortages, I think, will happen even after that of things like I tried to get new tires on my car, and in all of Calgary, there's only 4 tires I could round up and fit my car, which is really weird. And they said, okay, there's really bad shortages of tires. There's going to be shortages of certain things.
Yeah.
So everyone's going to have
to get angry. You guys are going to get pretty PO because you don't have your tires, right? Or you don't have your favorite food item, or whatever it may be. So there's going to be a lot of inconveniences. So it's a sanitized state of shortage. That's the whole idea. It's a stage shortage in that way. Like I said, it's just more plans to getting people riled up and getting them to ask questions. So I think it's just a matter of a vibration, that we're looking to enter a certain vibration for people where we're actually getting a lot more people questioning reality rather than just accepting the status quo. I think that's their big strategy here.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay, so here's one from Susie. Susie said, I had to leave my job of 26 years due to medical policy a couple months ago, but found another in the same field, which is dental. I feel I am meant to do something else and been drawn to healing modalities. Can you look at to what my life path is? I'm at 55 years old. Soon I am late to find my purpose. You're not late. You're still breathing air. You're still here. So it's all good. And much love to you, Susie. Thank you.
I found my purpose, one of them, at 60. So as soon as the lockdowns happened, I was 59. So right on my second Saturn return, my whole life purpose changed, and I went away from one-on-one readings and my daily routine the way it was, and I went full-time into YouTube truther. Right. So we can always rebirth, and I feel like it's truly one of my life missions. So she's the same way. So all of these things, it's like the universe's strategy to get her on her true path. And she's on one of the stepping stones to that, but she's not there yet. She'll have to really let go of the old way of working and rebirth herself as the healer. She kind of knows she is already. She already knows. She's already been given the sign, is what I get. So it's about trusting and letting go. It's like they put her on a safe stone in this other job, but that job will disappoint as well. The real thing is she's going to move right out of that, because if you think about it, if the world's going in the direction we're saying it is, and I'm sure it is, we're going to need a lot of healers, and that'll be the path of the future for sure. It's going to replace the medical system.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah. So Susie, that would be a recommendation, is get into alternative healing. Just something intuitively I'm feeling for you, perhaps Reiki and working with crystals. It'd be very good for you as well too. So take a look at that, see how that shines well for you. Thank you for your question. Let's go down the list here. Okay. Okay, here's one from Anne. Anne says, there is a serious rainstorm in KwaZulu-Natal, and it's raining there again. Huge damage, including to the port of Durban. Death tolls in the hundreds. Was this caused by weather manipulation? And if so, by whom? It's the worst storm South Africa has ever had.
Yeah, you bet it was. I feel like it was originally meant to be even worse, if you can imagine. Okay, and some deals were struck in the background, or things were taken down in the background that actually took it in a different direction. So it would have been even worse, if you can imagine. So that was meant to be. I always get, there's pockets of situations that they created a long time ago that are almost like booby trap things that have to do with especially weather. And they were left in play already. And then they've been slowly dismantling those, or maybe as fast as they can dismantle them. But they've taken them down quite a few notches, and including that one, which is why that whole volcano situation in that island didn't
La
go
Palma,
the way. Yeah, everybody was saying, "Oh, that's going to be blah blah blah." It was
Oh, I
meant
know,
to
yeah.
be a disaster,
Yep.
and it was meant to cause a big, huge tidal wave. It didn't, and
Yep.
this is going to be the same thing. Like, take it down, and you might even be hearing exaggerated versions of what's going on. By the way, because
Yes.
I was getting that. I hate to say it, but even the Shanghai situation, I was looking at it today. I feel like there's pockets of the situation they're talking about, but I want to hear from people who live there, because I feel like a lot of it's hyped up.
Yeah, it's what the media does. They look for where there's scuffles. And so, okay, here's the camera, get the camera over here. It's like what they were doing for the Canadian convoy, right? They're basically trying to hire actors to start trouble, and then basically trying to capture them on video and stuff like that. That's what they do, guys. So be very mindful of that. Like I said, some things that are from the ground, that's great. But like I said, where there's a lot of these things, right? Like I said, the dark forces may try to push all that stuff, but the counter forces intervene, and they try to shrink this down altogether. Sometimes these things may slip and come together, and maybe somewhat disastrous, but again, everything happens as it needs to happen. So like I said, when we're seeing floods and weather events like that, like I said, these are awakening times. These are times of great awakening that are taking place. So again, thank you for your question. This one here is from Laura. Laura says, what will the solar flash feel like? And will that flash happen this year?
Interesting. It's on hold, according to my cards, and we've got the world. So I feel like it's on hold, and it's likely been manipulated like other things. So I don't know how you manipulate a solar flash, but
well, it's because there isn't one. That's why.
yeah, it feels like it's maybe the information's been manipulated, because none of this looks like we're getting that solar flash they're talking about, because this is a long wait for that. It's not saying it'll never happen, but it's not looking like we're getting what they were talking about there.
Well, there's been a lot of talk in the past from remote viewers and stuff like that who are remote viewing the sun. And it's, oh yeah, there's this big gigantic solar flare. Well, first of all, guys, the sun does not have its own heat, and it does not have its own light, right? We're only seeing the heat and the light because of our atmosphere. This is what's referred to as sonoluminescence. So what I suggest for people who are tuning into my channel, maybe watching this for the first time, is go onto my YouTube channel and type in "True Nature of the Sun." Right? I actually did kind of like a mini documentary about it. And there is no such thing as a solar flash. We've never had a solar flash. We have solar plumes, but those plumes are, again, it's kind of like, I liken it to the idea of a mother breastfeeding a child. That's really what the sun is doing for the earth. When we're actually getting that solar activity from the earth, from the sun, that's coming into the earth, and that's nourishing ourselves. And that's what causes this spilling of a lot of events that we have. The earth is moving her frequency up. As she's moving her frequency up, a lot of that stuff that cannot stay with her frequency has to slip off. And those slip offs come from the nature of events. It also comes through our emotional states, our mental states from within ourselves. So from what I've gathered from my own investigations and from my own intuitive work, there's no such thing as a solar flash. Right? And even when there are solar plumes, they're not dangerous. They're actually very, very beneficial for the earth. It's the breast milk for the earth. That's the beautiful thing about it. It's not meant to be painted in fear. So guys, wipe the sweat off your brow. You're okay. All right. We're not going to be pouched off the earth.
I'm going to go check that documentary out.
It's going to be, it's really good. It's about a half hour long. It's one of my New Earth Teachings episodes. So I was looking very, very deeply into it. Nikola Tesla actually knew this as well too. He said, yeah, the sun doesn't have its own heat or light. He was actually looking to create a vibrational machine that would work together with powerful oscillating vibrations to create an artificial sun in the atmosphere. So we could actually harness power off it.
Yeah.
He said that's what it is. It's the atmosphere that gives us our heat and the light from the radiation. So very cool. All right, let's move on to the next question here. This one is from, let me just go down the list a bit more. Okay, here's one from Fatima. Fatima says, "Hi, Janine and Brad. I love you both. Thank you. My mother transitioned last September. What messages does she have for me now?" And this is for Fatima.
So she's saying there's something being offered to Fatima that Fatima is fearful of. Okay, she's being offered something. It could, yeah, she should take the gift. So there's a gift being offered. It could even be an emotional gift. In other words, a human, so a friendship or a relationship, some kind of an offering, and it'll be really positive for her if she receives the gift. So not to be afraid of the gift. So she's being gifted, I think, an emotional gift, maybe of a connection with someone. And of course, I'm not saying just accept every connection coming along, but use your intuition and discernment to, but there's one in particular being offered that your old feelings of relationships in the past or friendships kind of comes up and blocks you from it. It's time to just receive the gift of a really healthy relationship.
Wonderful. That's great. All right. So thank you, Fatima. Thanks for your question. Here's one about silver, I think it is. This is from Anne. Anne says, "Have I invested in enough silver to ensure a secure retirement? I'm 63 years old and would like to help humanity moving forward on a volunteer basis, or do I need to get another job?" So I got a question about silver and what she would like to do on a volunteer basis. All right, Anne, thank you.
I get what she needs to work on is letting go of her fears of abundance. And it's more about thinking differently and less about literally stockpiling silver. I do think she's done a lot. So she's made the effort to have enough, but I feel like also changing how she's thinking about or learning to trust that abundance will come her way when she needs it, and that she's always looked after. If she can work on that thinking, she would ensure her future a lot more than literally stockpiling something.
Excellent. All right. Thank you very much. And a reminder for everybody, just make sure you guys check out Janine's 2 YouTube channels. There is, of course, Sending Ravens, Tarot by Janine. You can find that on the YouTube search. And you can also find Tarot by Janine on YouTube as well. And again, another announcement, like I said, in July, I'm going to be doing a healing tour. So I will be coming up to Edmonton and Calgary as well, too. So maybe we'll get together. We'll do like a video interview or something like that. That'd be fun. See each other in person, right? So again, you guys can find out more about that. You can go to my website, newearthteachings.com. I will be putting up some events for the healing tour here in the next couple of weeks, but you can be a part of the meetup group if you're in BC or Alberta. Feel free just to sign up. It's free. It's a free meetup group and you can check it out. All right, let's go to the next question here. Here's an interesting one, another one from Laura. Laura says, "Are there giants living on the Solomon Islands, that is near Papua New Guinea?" So I can basically tell you, Laura, there were giants in South Africa because I saw one of their footprints. It's gigantic. So there's a lot of different places all around the world where there's giants that can be 10, 15, 20, 50, 100 feet tall. There's even, I was talking to Michael Tellinger about it. Michael Tellinger says there's actually mile-high giants.
Wow.
Yeah, gigantic. So let's take a look and see if there's giants in the Solomons.
Interesting. So it's saying, interesting question. And probably lots of places there's giants, but it doesn't want to be specific about where. So we're getting, even the universe says they don't want to put that energy or entities in danger. So I feel like that there's a protection mechanism in place there to not answer that somehow exactly.
Yeah.
But
some of them want to be left alone.
There's definitely giants. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, those are one of the world experiments as well too. Humanity is one Earth experiment. Another Earth experiment does involve the giants. Another one involves dolphins, for example. We have different Earth experiments, and a lot of them don't really want to be talked about. Some giants don't mind being mentioned, like I said, in South Africa. We get a lot of evidence of giants all around there. There's some in Ireland as well too. Some of them can actually live inside mountains as well too. We actually have some places here in BC where there's a location of giants, actually basically seeing like almost like the corpses of giants that have formed mountains. Hawaii is also well known for that as well too. So we do have giants in different places. Some are happy to share themselves, some are private, and it feels like that might just be a private area pertaining to the Solomons. So very good. Okay, let's go down the list here a bit more. Okay, this one here is from Charlotte. I've had a few dreams of triangular spaceships and 2 dreams of the whole sky with them. It was beautiful. Is this a future time or parallel world? Will we see this come to light?
I think she's, or whoever that was, is that a woman?
Yeah, yeah.
Is literally seeing them, but lots of other people don't. So it feels to me like it's a literal thing. She's seeing a fleet or fleets that may even be in a protective mode, because this could be like soldiers, but off-worlder soldiers or something like that, some kind of protection. But normally we don't see them. So I guess the veil's thinned for her.
Yeah, she saw it in a dream. So
yeah,
she saw it in her with the veil off in that sense. So yeah, that's absolutely true. There's videos where I've talked about disruptors, right? Where they're basically just kind of hiding behind veils. And they have performed in the past, they're being cleaned off the earth right now, but they have basically instigated a lot of violence between people, right? They would even go to sporting events and they would feed off a lot of the psychic energy off there, just from people's raw emotions as well too. But we have both disruptors and interventionalists. And basically these are beings that are just in the unseen dimensions. If they all fully uncloaked ourselves, guys, we'd have a sky full of ships everywhere, right? Millions and millions and millions of ships. We're very much the talk of the town in the galaxy right now. So there's a lot of different ships that are just floating above our skies, that are floating in orbit, that are around our star system, right? Just munching on their popcorn. So I wonder what these humans are going to do next, right? So some are neutral observers, some are also assisting, part of Armada assistance as well too. So yeah, so that's not an unusual dream. From what you're getting here. You're just, like I said, just tuning into perhaps some connections that you have in other dimensions that are coming through to you in dream time. So very nice, excellent. Here's one from Marcia. Marcia says, do you see a timeline when Earth's oceans, water, air, soil will become pure again in love and light? Okay, that's a nice question. So see everything that represents the purity and beauty of the earth returning back into that purity.
Yes, I do. That's being worked on as we speak. So things are being done in the background, and I think even our vibration rising will really help. But so we're not there yet with that card. We're still working on it. But even within 3 years, I think you're going to see a lot of changes to the good.
A lot of improvements to come, indeed.
Yeah.
Here's one from Nat. This is again a question about Canada. So how does the Canadian prospects look? Will the federal mandates be lifted soon so that we can travel within Canada or to visit friends and relatives, etc.?
Big yes, but looking like right now, they're thinking Army has to step up for that to happen. So they've bumped up against the need for, I'm thinking EBS or, you know how Brad, you were saying, we look into this constantly and it changes. Right now it's saying, yeah, we're going to bring the Army in to do it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. The Canadian military has been kind of very much in the shadows for a little bit. So I think they're now just kind of letting things, I think when the melting pot is finally there, that's when they're going to finally step in. I think they're waiting for that red alert to sound. Yeah. And then that's when they're going to do it. So we're basically getting, I think we're at an orange alert right now. So I think the next step up is red. So I think probably when we get closer to the summer, we may start to see a lot of that coming together. I've talked about, of course, around the end of April, right, that a lot of things pertaining to the COVID situation is going to change. Fortunately, there has been a lot of change. That's the good news, right? COVID has really, really dumbed down here. In Canada, it's still happening a little bit, but from the way it used to be, right? I say that's basically one sharing of my perspective field. It's not fully gone, but we're seeing it lightening up, not to mention like what's happening in the UK, what's happening in Mexico as well too, with a lot of these different countries that are now starting to completely dissolve that out of the way. And as I was saying, there will still be certain countries that will have pockets of it, but we're starting to see a lot more of a diminishment of it altogether.
Yeah.
Okay, here's one from Linda. Says, hi, Brad and Janine. I have been stuck for a long time and feel that there is no job for me and that I am of no use in society. I would like to know how I can get a job I find exciting. For instance, I like science and spirituality. Love, Linda. Okay. Thank you, Linda.
Okay, so Linda's going to have to work on old hurts from her past, especially related to extended family, before she'll be able to see herself as, because nobody here is useless or not, doesn't have a purpose. Everybody has a purpose, even if their purpose is just to discover their own personal beauty here on the earth plane. Maybe her purpose is to learn to love herself. Or even her purpose might even be to learn to get past disappointments from family members, extended family, and not to see the world from a half empty cup. That could be her purpose. Everybody doesn't have like a world purpose where they're going to save the world or whatever. Saving your own self and your soul purpose, focusing on your own personal healing could be the purpose this lifetime. And it's completely valid. It's as valid as anybody. You can't be a high vibrational being saving other people here or the earth unless you work on your own vibration. So her own personal path is more important, it looks like. It's all about her and to look at learning to love herself. So she wouldn't even write a comment like that if she loved herself. Nobody would say that about themselves. Everybody has a purpose. So she has some healing to do personally, and that's what her purpose is right now. And then if there's going to be another purpose, it'll be handed to her and she'll be more open to it.
Okay. So Linda, here's some advice for you. BCR technique, 30-day challenge. Okay, so just go to my YouTube channel, go to my playlists, BCR technique, 30-day challenge. That'll bring you right up to speed. That will help you because it's such a simple technique. All we're doing is we're working with the breath. All we're doing is we're going into calmness. And then when you're going into calmness, you go into your mind space and you create your heaven. You create your perfection. And you let all of that love flow through you. You fill it up. And you watch all of these conflicts just flow away and fall away because you're rising in vibration up here. So Linda, that would be my suggestion. Check out BCR 30-day challenge. Okay, here's one here from Adriana. Adriana says, many people are struggling and reporting heart palpitations. And many teachers and groups are saying this is related to solar activity and this is an ascension symptom. Magenta Pixie last night posted that ascension does not cause negative symptoms, and this is more an electrical sensitivity happening within the light body and the inverted matrix. What could best support reliving these heart palpitations? And are these ascension symptoms something that eventually stabilize in time? Thank you.
Well, I'm going to agree with Magenta to the degree that there could be discomfort to evolving, and like I was talking about headaches and etc. that can be discomfort, but I feel like generally speaking, really positive things coming around evolution, and you're going to feel even elated once you truly do the big quantum leap. Okay, so in that way it feels like, but I feel like in the meantime, with all of the emotional energies going on, you could be being affected by just trickery and emotional. This guys can be really tricky around our governments, maybe, because this can be about governments and really like all the lies. And you could be having a physical reaction to knowing those things or becoming aware of those things. And I know that my health is always affected by my emotional body. So you could be having an emotional reaction that's creating some of that.
That's exactly it. And it's good. You know, I'm glad. I know Magenta as well, too. She was the first channeler I ever met. I've done interviews with her years back. She's great. But this doesn't have to be so esoteric, right? It's just all about the idea of taking care of your mental body, taking care of the emotional body, working together with yourself. A lot of people in that sense are stressed out because of what's happening in the world, right? They take on a lot of those events and they don't realize what it's doing to them. And this is what causes heart palpitations. I know I get people who tell me that they've had heart problems or they're having a high blood pressure, or they're having nervous breakdowns in that sense because of the state of the world, or my family has rejected me, or I've had problems with my partner and so forth. Well, that's what we got to really attend to. So really what I would suggest is, guys, try not to associate this too much with the deep esoteric. Look into it just through the simplicity of just taking care of your emotions, taking care of your mentalities, taking care of yourself, making sure that when you're stressed out, you have to check in with yourself, right? It's just a personal checking in. So very much to what Janine has shared is that we get that kind of little troublemaker coming in, and we get an emotional explosion coming together. So we want to make sure that we're taking good care of ourselves physically, mentally, and emotionally. That's the important thing. Don't worry so much about ascension symptoms, right? There really is no such thing. When we're looking at the idea of symptoms, this again is reactions from the body, because your body's trying to move up here and you're resisting. So where there's that resistance, that's what's going to go. It's like you're just basically tying yourself down with chains. So you want to untie those chains. You want to break free of those chains. Like I said, guys, PCR technique, that will help you a lot. So Adriana, thank you very much for your question. Janine, how's things going over at Sending Ravens? Everything going good? Because I think you guys had a recent show with, I think it was the Oracle of the Divine Feminine, was it? Divine Mother Goddess.
Yeah, we that's actually from Beyond Mystic. He triples simulcasts or whatever it's called.
Is a guy.
Yeah. So it actually comes from his channel, but it plays on mine. But actually, my channel's been demonetized.
Oh.
So they're allowing me to put things up, but it seems like the lives are not working very well. They're messing with my channels. Let me tell you, I keep getting internet issues when nothing else, there's no other reason why. All of a sudden people can't play my videos. I'm getting messed with. I don't know.
Okay. So here's the thing that we can do is I can actually cut those cords out that are actually causing disruption with your channel. So what I'll do is maybe I'll talk to you afterwards on text.
Okay.
And I'll show you how we can cut those cords out so your channel gets remonetized.
Okay.
It's just, it's basically a lot of it is it's digital psychic attack, you could say.
Okay.
So we're just going to cut those cords out and then you'll get remonetized. So
Sweet.
I'll talk to you later about that.
Okay,
We'll look
good.
into it. Get your channel back in the flow here.
Yeah.
So here's one here from Kevin. Why do I always get a thought of what do you think in my head sometimes? Does it mean something like I need to be more independent and think more for myself? The constant question of what do you think, or what your perspective is, what do you think? Yeah, so it's an interesting question, Kevin. Thank you. I think you're kind of only answering your question at the same time you're asking the question.
Exactly. Yeah.
Independent and think more for yourself, right?
A similar situation where growing up, you might have had family members like downplaying the value of your thoughts or your opinion. So there may be something to heal around taking yourself seriously and allowing yourself to have the voice and taking yourself as somebody who's valuable, or your opinion is valuable. I feel like you're learning to value your opinion again. And you'll probably, it's like your higher self's telling you, think for yourself, because that maybe was taken away from you a bit, like just by the way you were brought up.
Excellent. Yes, I agree with that too. This one here is from Hanan. It's a very interesting question. Hi, Brad and Janine. Can we have a message from the trees for humanity? Thank you so much. Anything that the trees want to share collectively, perhaps for us?
I love the trees. I just went and hugged a tree across from my house because it called me over. And as soon as I got close to it, I got the feeling that hidden amongst the tree was the energy of a thunderbird, which is really interesting. Then it caught my attention, another tree in the same park that I never noticed, yet I stare at that park. It's right across from my house. And I didn't even notice this other tree that's massive. It was almost like it just appeared or decided to let me see it. And it had a panther in the tree. So it's like trees are so magical. And I felt like, okay, I've got this. I've actually got 3 trees shaped like a triangle right in front of my house. And I feel like they're protecting me.
Most definitely.
From evil forces and everything. Yeah, because I'm doing work in the universe that could be dangerous, like yourself.
Yes, absolutely. I've also had some collective experiences channeling trees in the past as well too. They're so full of love, and they're just giving you the education of just returning to nature, right? Just say, just try to get out of your house and just go by a tree. Find a tree that you feel is very appealing. Just kind of connects to your heart. Just sit down by the tree, give the tree a hug. put your hand on the tree, let the tree take you on a journey, because they're so good at giving you inner journeys as you learn to talk to them.
Yeah, yeah. And so according to what I'm getting here, that something's ending right now in the world. There's an ending that's going to be really dramatic and intense. It's been long and drawn out. It's been coming for a really long time. It feels karmic. I feel like that's the ending of the dark forces in the way that they've been handling humans, or that we've been allowing them to handle us. Because don't forget, somehow we're learning something from this whole process where we're not going to allow these things. And trees say that they're with us and completely friends of humans. And if we need help, so if you feel really distraught or you're never alone, go hug a tree. Like Brad said, trees can be my best friends. I've had best friend trees. And I think they're guardians of humans. So they want to say, we love you and we're there for you. So just remember that.
Yeah, my personal favorite are the elder trees. I was actually going through Salt Spring Island a few months ago, and I'd walk through the forest, and I was actually just putting my hand on an elder tree, and I felt such a rush of energy. It almost felt like you just got high, like if you were taking like a psilocybin trip in that way. I just felt the entire forest just coming alive, like breathing. I could see like more vibrant colors coming out of the ferns that were surrounding me as well too. Some are actually a lot more generous than others. That's the interesting thing. I noticed the elder trees are a lot like that. The ones that are just really, really big, the big ones. Those are the ones that are actually the most talkative as well too. There's the young trees that are kind of young and chipper. It's great, but when you actually talk to the elder trees, they give you some. It's like you're talking to like an elder chief. It's a wonderful feeling. Here's one here from Bear Builder. Personal question. In my automatic writing, I connected to someone different than my usual helpers. The info that came through was about me being a healer and that I will become a household name. I would like a confirmation of this. We will call the source the Big G. Okay. So just to see if there's a confirmation about him going far with his healing work and being a household name. This is from Bear Builder.
If he continues to visualize, he could bring that into manifestation. I feel like that's something available to his experience this lifetime, but he'll need to agree to it and hold it as an intention. So make a wish, like as a card reader, if you came in with that question and this card came up as the advice, I would say make a wish, keep that wish in your heart. Like you don't have to agree to that, but you could agree to it, and then you'll manifest it if you agree and continue to agree with it. So it's something that's a potential, and it's up to you, because some people don't want fame. Some people are not ready for that this lifetime. I put off even starting my YouTube channel or being known in the public for a really long time, even though I was told by lots of intuits and card readers and et cetera, that I would go see that I could become really known and even further than, and I feel really blessed for how much my word gets out there as it is, but apparently worldwide, huge, blah, blah, blah. And it's all about how ready are you and how accepting. So as I accept the challenge and the responsibility of that, and that's what it's saying to you. It's that potential, absolutely. And you just need to embrace it and work towards calling it to you and doing the work that it would take, taking on the responsibility of it.
Absolutely. Great. Thank you, Bear Builder, for your question. Here's a bigger question here from Maria Kalsa Jerba. Maria asks, how are the new financial systems going to be implemented in different countries, such as Finland and Sweden? The financial systems, different countries, implementation.
It feels like they're the same all over the place. So I feel like whatever's coming, it could be true to the world, or it'll affect the whole world somehow. And it's to the advantage of humans. So it's not really giving me exact implications. Maybe Brad's better at channeling stuff like that. I'm not the detail girl, but see that six.
It is pretty sporadic. It's a little challenging to predict.
Yeah. it comes in different areas at different times, and it's already been put into motion. So it's already started. I mean, look what happened in Russia.
Yes, yeah, but they're
It's
going
just
gold
out
back
there.
now. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's already, so it feels like it comes to different shores at different
Yeah.
times.
Yeah,
And
my
in
feeling is that
different
that Russia will have a very big influence upon the world, right?
Yeah.
After the cabal gets fallen apart, everybody's going to start following Russia's example of using gold-backed currency. That's going to be one of the new financial systems that are going to come in. I feel
Yeah.
like that'll be 2023 because 2023 is a reset revaluation year. So we're
Yeah.
going to see a lot more of that coming together. And I think a lot of European countries will follow through, Asia. And I think, like I said, the West is usually the last to get on that train. But in time, it's going to happen, right? So we're going to see that. We're going to see digital currency, cryptocurrency, quantum financial system coming together, a lot of different molds for us to work with. Particularly with the fiat currency dying out right now as well, too. So, well, it has a very short lifespan left. It's hanging on by a thread.
Yeah.
Here's one here from Marn. Says, hello, Janine and Brad. Thank you for this today. Can you tell me if my sister Linda, my only immediate family member, is going to turn the corner with her muscular dystrophy and exposure to all of her caregivers, husband, etc., who have all been jabbed or poked? She's declined dramatically in the last 4 to 5 months. Thank you.
I feel like she's stronger than she believes. So a lot of this could be belief system. I feel like it's really important for her not to, and or other people not to make assumptions that her surroundings is affecting her. A lot of it's just the world, and everything being revealed is hard on everybody. So it can really take you down, but her cards are really strong. So she may want to work on her thoughts, and anybody around her who's aware, sending thoughts and assuming that she's getting stronger and not assuming or talking about or focusing on how weak she's getting. And it sounds like they're insinuating it's because she's around all these people that are jabbed. That's what I'm assuming they're saying. Okay, but I'm not getting that. I'm getting, you can decide that or not decide that. You can, like, there's no way a jabbed person living with me is going to bring me down. Okay, that's not going to happen.
Yep.
And I just don't buy it. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying the shedding. I'm not buying it. So if I don't buy it and agree to it, then it's not a thing. Okay, so people need to realize you're way more somebody carrying disinformation or somebody just not informed.
That's what I get as well, too. Yeah. So guys, you got to be really careful with these remote viewers or people who claim they're remote viewing. I've done remote viewing back in 2010. I did it for quite some time. And a lot of people who say they're remote viewing aren't actually remote viewing. They're basically coming up with conjectures. They're coming up with a lot more stories as well, too. There's just a lot of people like that. I can't say if it's this particular group that you're talking about, Tom, but you got to be very, very careful with remote viewers, right? There are people that really just want to get fear out there, and they basically want to just put their opinion out. And because, oh, I can say I'm a remote viewer, but I say, okay, well, go ahead and do a remote view in front of me because I know what remote viewing is like. Go ahead and do one in front of me and see if it's actually genuine. I can tell you if it's good or BS. So I've also got a lot of different false information from this particular group as well, too. So they're not a reliable group, guys. Again, I don't like to form opinions upon anybody, not any person or anything, but as a group, I guess I don't have a problem with that. They're not a very good, reliable source of information, that far side group. Okay, so I would say basically kick them in the curb. I've just gotten a lot of different perspectives from what people have shared with me in the past with sessions. Oh, Brad Farsight said this, and Farsight said, nope, sorry, wrong. So that's just not a group that I would recommend. Nothing personally to the people. I'm sure they have their own reasons, but I would not recommend that group. Be very careful with so-called remote viewers, okay? Because they often are not one. All right, so let's go down the list here a bit more. Okay. Here's a personal question here from Julie. Will I be able to support myself in my business, or will I have to go back to working for someone else? If so, how long will it take? And again, it's for Julie.
So yes, to the first part of that question, which is, will she be able to support herself? Absolutely. And it looks like her business might have something to do with the healing arts. with that King
Good.
of Cups.
Mhm.
That's a well-aspected King of Cups. I mean, he can be really sneaky and difficult, but if he's well aspected with an ace like that, he's a great healer or has a lot of potential and could even be a past life healer with that card. And it was a big decision, or is a big decision, but this is in the past. So it looked like it was a really big and scary thing to move into the new work and move out of, getting a paycheck from somebody else, right? So she looks like she's at the very beginning of that, because there's a page there. That's the very beginning. So it's about trusting in her own work, trusting in the universe, put her energy out. When I started full-time reading, I gave up bartending, waitressing, and managing clubs. And I was making really good money doing those things, and I was really good at it. I actually quite enjoyed it. It was fun. Another part of my personality, but I'd been studying tarot for years, and I decided, okay, there was a good reason. I had a child, so you can't really do that kind of bartending and waitressing kind of work with a child. I was a single mom, or I was on my way to being a single mom. Long story, but anyway, so I knew that I would be, needed at home with my daughter. So then I was like, well, I've been studying tarot for years. Let's become a full-time reader. And it was really scary to just step out and own that this is what I was meant to be. And this would be the thing that I would put all my energy into. And it took about a year to build the clientele. So it's going to take time, but it feels like if you just commit to it, you have all the ingredients and you're good at what you do. So it's going to take faith and trust in yourself.
Excellent. That's very good. So thank you for your question. I hope that helped you out. Here's another one here from Karen. Karen says, Janine, please help shine light on my grandson, who is 12 years old and has a genetic condition that leaves him often nonverbal and having voices in his head. I feel he is very precious and has big potential. Please help. All right. Thank you, Karen.
Well, I agree that he is very special. And he has a lot of really interesting things to share once he's able to figure out how to share them. How old did she say the age?
12 years old. 12 years old.
Yeah, because I feel like he's going to get his word out to the world, even though it's challenging. It's his desire to share he has some big things he has to share eventually in his lifetime. And he is really special. I do get it. It's probably been really frustrating for him, but he's going to find the way to share it. So there's going to be a way. So this could be music. This could be visuals. There could be another media form that he uses to share, but he's going to share his vision of the world. And that's something he's going to actually end up getting really good at. It feels like within even 3 years, he has a breakthrough in finding the way. So he's going to find a tool. And that could be, right now in my mind comes to mind YouTube, TikTok comes to mind. I'm not sure. Some version of that may be more cleaned up from what they are now. I'm not sure. Right. But there's going to be a tool that he uses that ends up being his way of getting the word out. And it'll really help his frustration and, help him do his life purpose.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. Again, Karen, for your post there. So here's one from Murchie. Do you know if UE passport, I think she means the EU passport traveling is going to be canceled before the date of May 2023, like they extended? So if we know if the EU passport traveling is going to be canceled before May of 2023.
You bet. I get a total reversal of silliness like that. Wheel of Fortune. It's like I can't hold. If their government's shadowed, like I believe, that would make sense. If their government's shadowed, none of that stuff holds water. All of these ridiculous things that they put, like in Canada, they're doing that too. They're sneaking things in the middle of the night, going through. None of it's legal. It can't hold. And right now they have literally a shadowed government, most places. So yes, it'll be reversed.
Yeah, I'm sensing that too as well. A lot of these old passports that have been promised in that sense. What they plan and what actually happens are two different things. Like I said, guys, it's the life movie, right?
Yeah.
We're watching the life movie here. Do not take anything that you see in the mainstream media or on articles or with experts in regards to saying this is what's going to happen seriously. You got to look at everything with a grain of salt. It's just all these things that need to shift and then basically being taken care of. It's kind of like we're filing away folders, right? We're just pulling up these folders, we're filing away. Okay, they're done, they're done, they're done. We just had to basically get all these things out of the table so we can move into this new earth to come. Here's one here from Carrie, wondering about the timing on the RV, the revaluation of currencies, please. Thank you.
So that looks like in the background, Alliance or White Hat operation, also off-worlders. So there's a lot of energies or entities working for that to be a thing. We've got a truth card, so the thing's real, which I get every time I look at it. I don't think it's a big psyop like some people say. Okay, so timing. So sometime this year. Next thing that happens is it does reevaluate. So it's going to reevaluate. So and within the year, but the when of it has a bunch of other things have to happen first. So there has to be a certain event or some kind of a really big, intense situation happen. Also, the bad guys have to be way more outed than they are.
That's true. Yeah, it's a work in progress.
Yeah, there's some things happening that have to happen first, but the things coming, it's real.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, it's coming on the way. So here's one from Sharon. Hi, Janine and Brad. Can you tell us about California? How is California doing? What's ahead for California? Anything in regards to its momentum?
So Californian governments, even though they seem really compromised, are all shadowed by good guys. So what they're doing, they made an agreement to show you just how bad things could be. Right. So they're part of the movie, like I've been saying. There's a whole lot of off-world activity hovering around California. I'm sure people have seen it. They're loaded with activity there. And they're being watched really carefully by the good off-worlders. What do you call them again, Brad? Galactic.
Oh, the human guardians. Yeah.
Human guardians.
Yeah, human guardians, or you can call them cosmic administration, cosmic admin, or human guardians. Yeah.
Eventually, California is going to be returned to a more natural state of what a beautiful place it was. And I feel like that's in the coming years, that could be a really beautiful place to live. But right now it's really focused on being an example of what a deep state run place looks like. And they're going to point back to it when all the tribunal information comes out, whatever. They're going to say, this is what these guys had planned. They were going to make everything like this. They're going to use them as an example. So you're going to have to tolerate it in the meantime.
Exactly. Yeah. So like I said, just be in your world, guys, right? Spread your love far and wide. What's most important is that your world is divine. You want to make sure we're living inside the heart. So this one here is from Leslie. Leslie says, was the looking glass technology recovered in Iraq during the war by the deep state in the 1980s? So we've both done some work on looking glass technology.
Well, I'm getting a yes. Some version of it, or maybe a version of it.
Yeah.
I mean, because maybe there's more than one of those.
There's different types. Yeah. There's even looking glass spaceships as well too. So you can actually go on board a spaceship, and it's these rings that keep spinning, and there's like an eye in the center. And as these rings continue to spin, it basically creates this light, and it's like a projection. And you can see these different pictures of events and so forth. But they always represent probabilities. They're never 100%. They're just basically observing it at the time that it exists, right? So we have different types of looking glass. We have ones that are, again, kind of like glass apparatus or rings. They're basically like scaled down versions of the ones that the Earth have. The ones that the human guardians have are much larger on the moon. So
Okay.
it's quite a popular technology if you're looking at different civilizations that use it. Okay, let's go down here a bit more. Okay, here's one from Allison. Some are reporting a very positive alignment for humanity on April 24th of this year. Do you see that? And what does it look like? And what it may mean? Okay, thank you, Allison.
Wow. It looks like a big exposure of the darkness.
Mm.
So this card came first, thank goodness.
Mhm.
So that's moving out of troubled water to do with the hurt and harm these guys have been doing. Okay, so, or a big clarification of that. So some kind of clarification. So for some people, that might not seem like such a positive thing, but to me, it'll feel hard because these two cards are not easy. And then this card was in the background, so it'll come as a revelation about the evil that's been doing harm and who they've been doing it to. Okay, and I feel like it has something to do with the party substance. So in other words, adrenochrome. Okay, so something like that's what I call the party substance on my channel. And yeah, it's got something to do with the evils of creating that. And so it may not, like the universe might see that as a great thing. And universe and spirit world, I'm pretty sure Brad will know what I'm talking about here, but is very detached and doesn't see, they see truth as great. Like if something comes out that needs to be out, then great. Even if it's hurtful to sensitive people or harmful to.
Yeah, it doesn't care about good or evil. It will just share what needs to be shared.
Yeah, it's like, this is a great thing according to the universe, but so it might not be all like a really great day or anything, could be a really intense day, but it'll bring out something that needs to, or something by then has been brought to light. Or sometimes the way it'll look at that date with cards is this will happen and you'll hear about it later because you might not hear about it right on that day, but something on that day looks like it'll really reveal a darkness that's been lurking and needs to be talked about and revealed.
Excellent. Yeah, absolutely. And I feel that we're very close to that. Now, there's, of course, the news right now that Elon Musk is looking to buy Twitter. Right. So I'm wondering if that happens, how would that look? Maybe looking at the cards about that. If Elon Musk is successful in buying Twitter, what will that lead into? What will the momentum be if that does take place?
Okay, I feel like he's working for a team. He's working in the background with some people. So the vision of him buying Twitter or the story about it could be part of the movie, you guys. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking that's part of the movie, and the outcome, I don't know, like he might appear like he did buy it or something with that card, because that's
somebody else will run it.
Yeah, that's manifesting something, but yeah, somebody else could be running it. Yeah, I feel like all of that's a visual to make you think he's going to buy it, but somebody else is behind it. And they're not bad guys, though. It feels like good guys.
Yeah, I feel it's the same thing with Twitter and with Facebook as well, too, right? They basically already have it under control, but they're going to incorporate it somehow in the movie. It's saying, oh, well, this billionaire has it. Maybe it's the Amazon guy that's going to buy Facebook or something like that, right? Jeff Bezos in that sense. So they're basically just using these cover stories as something that they have already acquired. So Twitter is already acquired by the counterforces, and they basically just need to make this official and then show it that it's going to change form in that way. Facebook will probably be the same. Maybe even YouTube will be the same. Google will probably be the same as well, too. A lot of these guys are basically just kind of buying time, and at the right moment, the switch shifts and say, okay, now this person has bought it instead. And now we're going to see changes coming together just as part of an official narrative. Right, great. Yeah, I'm kind of getting that same feeling too. Okay, let's go down the list here. We're going to probably take about 4 or 5 more questions, guys. I'm going to wrap up. Okay, here's one from Barbara. Barbara says, hi, Janine. I want to do more to assist humanity. I have so many gifts or directions I could go. but I find it challenging to decide. Can you tell me what is holding me back and what area you see me going into to assist humanity? And this is from Barbara Walker.
So it looks like Barbara's been told what it was, or it came to her heart, but she talks herself out of it. So it's about self-trust again. And you watch the language in your head, like if you're yeah-butting and what-ifing, and okay, that can't be me and I can't be doing that. Yeah, she was told already and she's buried it. Okay, so it's there. It's already been in her heart, given to her heart to do. So she just needs to let it resurface and then face it and embrace it, and not assume that she's not up for the task or whatever. She's talking herself out of it somehow. She's making either excuses and or telling herself that couldn't be it or something like that. She's absolutely been told what it was, and she'll when she agrees to it. Like I like to do a ritual where I agree to things once I know for sure. I usually go out around and amongst trees to do it. And I sort of open up and open my heart chakra up to, okay, guide me. And I'm open to knowing exactly how to take the steps to do what I got to do. So she might want to do something like that once she gets back in touch with, because she knows it, but she's buried it in her unconscious. She was told already, and it might have been some time ago. So she just needs to get in touch with that knowing again and trust it and not talk herself out of it.
Excellent. Thank you, Barbara, for your question. This one here is from Sharon. Sharon says, Ontario under Doug Ford passed Bill 100 in stealth, which removes the right to protest. Suspect is that this may be adopted by the other provinces. Severe penalties have been put in place. What do you make of this removal of our freedoms? It does not even sound legal to me. Yeah,
it's not legal. It's going to get stepped away from. It's a temporary setback, and it's meant to help wake people up to the evilness. Think about it. So our whole government's done nonstop. Think about what Trudeau has been up to. Unbelievable. Is if he was real, there's no way, like you couldn't have done any of those things. He wouldn't have done it. Yeah, yes, they were evil and bad, but now they've like put them on warp speed to show you the worst. Everything they were going to do in 10 years in a subtle way, they've made them put out in front of everybody in the last year and a half. Okay, they did it on purpose so they can point back and say, this is what these guys do, and this is what they've been up to. Look at what they did here, here, and here. Like there's so many lawsuits coming down on these governments. It isn't even funny. We haven't even got, we're just getting started.
And that's the thing. You can't really sue a movie, right?
Yeah, it's a movie. Okay, so we've got 9 of Cups here. They want you to believe that it's going to be, there's going to be a celebration when all of that stuff gets revealed. It's going to be a drop.
Yeah, are great as well too for that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look for another question here. Here's one from QN. Will NATO expand with Finland and Sweden, which can cause WW3 with Russia? So NATO expanding. Again, guys, just a hint. This is the movie. Click, click, click.
Yeah.
We'll take a look at that. Will NATO expand with Finland and Sweden?
NATO's been as good as taken apart. So whatever you're seeing is like a unique way of showing you something again. So we got part of the movie, like Brad just said. Okay, so surrender to this will all get exposed.
Yep.
They're just trying to expose these guys.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
No, it's not.
The ball's being taken down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I said, guys. You got to just make sure you take all these things with a grain of salt. Like I'm just seeing it constantly with you guys again and again and again. Guys, grains of salt, grains of salt. Okay. This is not something to take so seriously that's going to cause you. And you guys wonder why you get heart palpitations? Well, there you go.
NATO might have been taken down with that capitulation.
I get the feeling that counter forces already have them in their back pocket.
Yeah, so, took it already a long time
exactly.
ago.
They were because someone asked me not too long ago, Brad, is NATO still part of the dark forces? And no, the counter forces have pretty much got them taken care of. They're in the back pocket right now. Okay, guys, we're gonna do 2 more questions and we're gonna wrap up here. I'm just looking for some ones that are kind of more general, just so we can all walk away with some good information before we wrap up for today. So just give me a moment here. I'm just gonna scroll down the list here. Okay. Okay. Okay, here's one from H. Anderson saying, it seems that no one has addressed the elephant in the room around dark agendas, China. They have infiltrated into every country globally, own the majority of natural resources, have or use treated humans less than a self for thousands of years, disregarding any environmental stewardship for the earth. Is or when the elephant going to be slain? Basically, when is China going to be taken down for everything they're doing?
So what I get about the CCP, because I'm assuming that's what they're talking about.
The CCP, yeah.
Yeah. So what I get about that, I've done numerous readings on that, and I always get that they are just an arm of what we call the Illuminati, the cabal.
Mhm.
And they puppet the CCP is puppets for the cabal. So that what that person's describing is the cabal, who are in every corner of, so China, CCP equals cabal. So we're talking about the dark hats. So that's the big war we're in right now. It's so good against those guys. And that's just an arm of them. So, just to clarify what I've been getting on that. So we got the emperor and the ace. So that's, again, those guys have capitulated. That's my white hats, Mr. T and the white hats, and that's my good alliance kind of card. So we got them both there and a really positive ace there. So for the last year, I think they're puppeting those guys as well. So they're they're dying a slow death. There's still some pockets of puppets of theirs that haven't got the memo that they've capitulated. So they're doing really skanky things, of course. But believe it or not, they're also playing that government like they're playing all the governments. So what we were saying about the governments being puppeted, so is the CCP.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There
it's
was
kind of like what's happening in Shanghai right now too. It's giving you the idea
there
of
was
where they're heading.
That some time ago.
Yep.
Remember when that guy was outside? I can't remember all the details, but they showed that really clearly that the CCP had been taken down, and that was at least a year ago. But they're still playing out some of this stuff, and they're also being puppeted and used to show people what these guys have been up to.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So like I said, guys, everything really is going to be taken down in its own appropriate thing. Like I said, the counter forces have already won this. This is already a victory. Yeah. So we're basically just, like I said, we're kind of like the snail just being caught up with everything that's happening, slow and sweet, because they say, well, not only do we want to attain victory, we want to put a lot of this information, we want to put a lot of these wrongdoings with a lot of the things that have happened, so that when the time comes, the tribunals, the Nuremberg trials take place, we have all this evidence, we have people, vouching for everything they've seen, that can take these guys down once and for all. So like I said, it's all part of the movie altogether. Okay, so we're going to try one more question here, and we're going to wrap up. Okay, here's one from Abigail. When do you think there is going to be a resources shift for creating a new social structure, such as a new Earth alternative to big tech or big pharma or the Khazarian mafia, etc.? Now most of financial power is with them. How will this transition happen?
So the idea of it's already out there with that big ace, and it's on hold for now. Okay, it's on hold for now, so that this big takedown has to happen first. So we need to out to the normal people. So yeah, we all know this and it's already in play, but it has to get known to the general population, what's been going on before that can start. Mm-hmm. Okay, so how long? So we've got the devil and the 6. So they got to out the devil. So the cabal and the Illuminati, they got to out that. And it depends on how long does it take for that to really get known. Think about your sleeper relatives. How long is it going to get for them, or what will it take for them to know that what we know about the cabal and the Illuminati and what they've been up to is real? Because they're going to think, and they already think, you're nuts if you even go near those topics. Okay, so that it'll depend. But I think in the next year, we'll start to see the change. Like action will be taken before that, but I think it'll take time to get everything in place to start making the changes.
Yeah, absolutely. The good thing about this whole year, 2022, is that this is where the majority of the old cabal gets taken down. right? That's what this is, a year of action, a year of justice, just a year of healing. And then when we get into 2023, like I said, it's a reevaluation time, it's a reset, it's being able to reflect on a lot of different things. And I think those will be a lot more of the intense trials that will come together in 2023. So everything representing reevaluation, looking at things again with a more fine-tooth comb, even looking into the idea of the RV reset, like that's going to be like a benchmark time. For 2023, right, we're looking at the 7 numerological number here. So that's all about reevaluation and reset and reflection and looking deeply within, taking things with a fine-tooth comb. So we're going to see a lot of things happen just between this year and next year. And a lot of this is, guys, can you imagine when all of this stuff is out of the way, what kind of earth we're going to live on? It's going to be phenomenal. It's going to be beautiful. You won't have to worry about corruption anymore. You're not going to worry about unfair treatment. You're not going to worry about wars and poverty. The entire world is going to get fed. You're going to see the deserts turn green again. You're going to see the air getting purified. You're going to see the water getting purified. You're going to see new technologies coming together, flying cars, right? Hover cars. In that way too. We have new transportation systems coming together. We have new energy systems coming together. Tesla technology will be coming back. Everything's just going to be so phenomenal, right? It's going to be a much more grander world than it is. Is it going to be a perfect world? No, but it certainly is a bigger step up from where we are. So we just keep doing what we do. We just check in every now and then to see how things are going. And that's all Janine and I really do, right? We just check in with things. Sometimes we look at things and say, okay, well, we think maybe it'll go this way. And sometimes maybe it goes that way. Hey, that's okay. That's just a part of the way the energy is shifting. It's very, very challenging to accurately predict a lot, 100% about where things are going because all these timelines are converging all at the same time. So anyways, guys, I want to thank you everybody for joining me and Janine today. And Janine, I'm going to give you an audio here very shortly. I'll send to your email about taking off the cords for your YouTube channel so we can cut those off so you can get your abundance back with the channel. And so I'll send that to you shortly here later today. Okay. And thanks for being part of this today. We'll have to do this again in another couple of months. Do another update.
Right on. Thanks, Brad.
Right. Thank you, guys.
Working with you guys.